Good morning. Coming up, the race to find the submersible that disappeared while exploring the wreckage of the Titanic. Underwater noises were detected overnight. This morning, we're speaking with one man who was scheduled to be on board but pulled out due to safety concerns. And the other big headline this morning, Hunter Biden's plea deal. The president's son reaching an agreement on tax violations and a gun charge. We'll have all the latest coming up on GMA.
Okay, it's 5:57, 79 degrees. These kids are trading bonfires for black belts. We're introducing you to a unique martial arts camp that wants to keep your kids active. And up next, it's Wemby mania. It's officially here, showing no signs of slowing down either. We've got the latest as we approach the draft night in the Alamo City. And of course, all the latest on traffic and weather when we come back. This morning on GMSA, 2 people are without a place to stay after an apartment building goes up in smoke on the city's east side. What we've been able to learn from the scene. Plus,
I'm ABC's M1 in Washington. Rescue crews continue searching for 5 people who vanished in a sub who were on their way to see the wreckage of the Titanic. Authorities say they have until Thursday morning before they run out of oxygen. The latest coming up.
And looking out there with live cam, expect the humidity when you walk out the door. This after we hit some record-breaking heat yesterday. We're going to be checking in with Mike to see if there will be any relief in the forecast.
Live from KSAT 12. Good morning, San Antonio starts right now.
Good morning at 6 a.m. on your Wednesday, June 21st.
Thanks for joining us. And I like what you said earlier. Let's not talk about the heat. Let's just call it Wemby Wednesday.
Yeah, Wemby Wednesday.
Wemby Wednesday.
Some happy news.
Happy thoughts there.
Right, Mike?
Think about anything.
Right. Anything else.
But it's something you can't really ignore it just because not only if you're inside, a lot of times air conditioning can't hardly even keep up.
Oh,
true.
I had it at 78 during the day yesterday, and it was constantly on. So it was actually cool because I had something blowing.
Yeah, ceiling fans really do help out in a situation like this to kind of keep things mixed up and to make it feel a little bit cooler, because in the middle of the afternoon is when it really just starts getting blisteringly hot. Temperatures just kind of do this almost exponential rise in the afternoons. We've got all of our humidity hanging around here later right now. 79 degrees, 80 Castroville. Normal low temperature in San Antonio right now is 73. And these numbers remain extremely high. The dew points, the measure of moisture in the atmosphere, if you will. And 76 here in town. Definitely fog up the windows, fog up your glasses, everything else. And heat index readings, 83 out there at the airport right now. Same thing at Stinson, 83 in New Braunfels. We do have a low amount of mold in the atmosphere. Update account's going to be coming out later on this morning. And 90 at noon, 104. Past couple of days, we've hit 105. Both of those were records. And yesterday, of course, we did set the record as far as the heat index in the afternoon, got up to 117. And today, that will be 2 degrees away from a record high temperature. 106, and it's going to be close to it. Obviously, we'll have the heat index to deal with. And we do have a threat for a couple of strong to potentially severe storms late this afternoon, more like into the evening hours, with some of those showers and storms will develop. Now, there are going to be a few more than what we've had around here the past couple of days, so that's encouraging. It's a better chance to see some rain, especially, obviously, northern half of the area. Also, of course, the excessive heat warning remains in effect up until 9 o'clock tonight. Hasn't been extended, so we get a little bit of a break temporarily. Details on that and a look ahead at the weekend coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority been kind of quiet on the roads this morning.
Quiet on the main lanes, Mike, but elsewhere things are getting a little busier, and we're talking about what's happening in Leon Valley. Before we get to that, quick look around town does show the commute is getting busier there at 1604 at Meadow Creek. Not spotting any issues, though, on these TransGuide cameras, just maybe a little bit busier than what we saw maybe an hour ago. But let's get you to the big news of the morning. This road closure happening in Leon Valley. Grissom Road completely shut down due to a fire that started in a storage facility. And you can see between Bandera and Timber Hill Drive, we're starting to see that portion of our map shaded out. And that is a very busy spot for commuters. Katrina Weber is live there now. Katrina, what's the latest on this street closure?
Well, the street is still closed, and we are starting to see people wake up and try to approach this area in their vehicles, but they're being turned around. That's because there's still a lot of hoses that are stretched across the road, a lot of fire units here, as you can see behind me. Well, this fire broke out about 4 o'clock, a little bit after. It is inside that fenced-off area. That is a storage facility, we understand, for RVs and boats and things like that. Firefighters say that it involved 4 of those units inside Leon Valley Storage. 4 of those storage units and some of the property that is inside. They were worried for a while because there are propane tanks there as well, but they were able to get that fire out. But the situation is they're still investigating. They're still making sure that that fire stays out, and they're trying to find out exactly how it started. So until that point, they're going to have some of these units in the area. They say they could be here as long as about 7 o'clock this morning. So this stretch of Grissom Road, that is between Bandera Road and Timber Hill Drive, this is closed until these units move out of the way and they're able to wrap up all of their hoses. They do advise you, if you have to come through this area, to find another way around because this is closed for now. Reporting live in Leon Valley, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. New this morning, 2 people are out of their home after their apartment caught fire last night. San Antonio firefighters say it started just after 9:30 last night in the 4600 block of Dietrich Road. That's on the city's east side. No one was home at the time of the fire. However, 1 resident was evaluated by EMS at the scene. 2 people are now staying with family in the same complex. The cause of the fire is still unknown.
Firefighters also had to put out a garage fire on the city's far northwest side. Smoke was spotted just before 12:30 on the 8900 block of Maverick Draw near Tesla Road. Now, fire crews were able to contain that fire to the garage, and they tell us that no injuries were reported. For now, the cause of that fire is still under investigation. A love triangle murder trial, 6 years in the making, is officially underway here in San Antonio.
Guadalupe Contreras, accused of killing his wife Elizabeth, is facing up to life in prison if convicted. The first witness testimony revealed the love triangle involved Elizabeth's first husband, Joe Munoz. Munoz was called to the stand to speak about his relationship with his ex-wife and how she had moved back in with him and their daughter when she separated from Contreras back in 2017. He said on the night of her killing, she told him she had to go pick up her work schedule and speak with her supervisor, but she never came home.
I woke up to notice that Elizabeth hadn't gotten home yet, so I got concerned.
Testimony continues this afternoon, and complete coverage of this trial can be found on our website, ksat.com. And it's a race against time as rescue crews work around the clock to locate a deep-sea submarine carrying 5 people in the North Atlantic Ocean.
The sub was on its way to the Titanic wreckage on Sunday when it stopped communicating.
As ABC's Wynn reports, authorities believe the crew will likely run out of oxygen by tomorrow.
This morning, a critical international search remains ongoing for 5 people on board a submersible called Titan that vanished in the North Atlantic Ocean. Overnight, the U.S. Coast Guard saying a Canadian aircraft detected underwater noises in the search area. But when operations relocated to find the source, searches have yielded negative results. Authorities believe the crew, which was on its way to tour the wreckage of the Titanic, only have enough oxygen to last them until Thursday morning.
Our crews are working around the clock to ensure that we are doing everything possible to locate the Titan and the 5 crew members.
The Coast Guard releasing video from inside its operations center, also showing the search pattern. Teams from France and the U.S. Air Force aiding the search, but so far no signs of Titan, which is roughly the size of a van. On board Titan is OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush. That same sub has made more than a dozen previous trips to the Titanic wreckage site. Also among the missing, businessman Shahzada Dawood, his son Solomon, renowned Titanic researcher Paul Henry Najule, and Hamish Harding, a British billionaire.
I'm terrified, I'm anxious. Every single second, every single minute feels like hours. And we're losing time.
In a 2018 lawsuit, the company's former director of operations raised concerns about the safety of Titan at extreme depths, saying that constant pressure could weaken existing flaws in the sub. That same year, industry experts wrote a letter to OceanGate warning of potentially catastrophic problems with Titan's development.
It must be understood this is an experimental craft and that there are significant risks attached to it.
The Navy is now sending equipment that can lift up to 60,000 pounds, designed for recovering large undersea objects in the event the sub is located. But if the crew is trapped on the ocean floor, they're facing extreme conditions. M1, ABC News, Washington.
Over in Washington, Republican lawmakers are accusing the Justice Department of striking a, quote, sweetheart deal with the president's son, Hunter Biden. After a years-long investigation, Hunter Biden reached a tentative agreement with federal prosecutors agreeing to plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor tax offenses. Authorities were investigating if Hunter paid enough taxes on millions of dollars in income in 2017 and 2018, including money earned from overseas business dealings with China and Ukraine. Hunter has since paid the overdue tax bill of more than $100,000. One former federal prosecutor says it's likely the judge will agree with the prosecutor's recommendation of probation.
A lot of times with tax evasion charges, if the defendant or taxpayer pays the money, which apparently he did in 2021, was late, then there's not much of an appetite to go after them criminally. They're very, very careful not to look like they're coming down too hard on them, just as they're careful not to look like they're giving them favoritism.
Now, Hunter Biden is also expected to reach a deal on a felony gun charge. He's accused of lying about his drug use on an application when he bought a firearm back in 2018.
Looking ahead, traffic in Philadelphia will be moving again this weekend on I-95, just weeks after part of the interstate collapsed. Now, part of an overpass crumbled 2 weeks ago after a gas tanker crashed, exploding into flames. Repairs were projected to take months, but officials say temporary lanes will open this weekend. Once traffic is moving, a new timeline will begin for rebuilding the permanent structure.
6:11 and 79 degrees.
Still to come before 6:30, Spotify is making changes that could affect how you save your favorite podcasts. A look at how it works coming up.
After the break, Wemby mania has arrived in New York. What the French phenom is doing in the Big Apple ahead of tomorrow night's NBA draft.
Yeah, let's talk about Wemby instead of the Heat.
Wemby Wednesday.
That's right. I love it. Wemby Wednesday. Taking a look outside with a live cam. We're at 79 degrees. I think he'll be surprised with the heat, though, when he gets here to San Antonio.
Welcome.
We'll be right back.
Draft. All right, guys. Here we go. 7-4.
Oh, boy.
Let's see.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Well, Wemby is making the rounds in New York before the NBA draft, and he got to throw out the first pitch at the Mariners and Yankees game last night. So it sounded like Wemby even got some boos out there because of that throw, and the MLB network joked that maybe he should stick to basketball. Aw, we're still fans here.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to hear from Victor Wembanyama during an exclusive interview this morning with ABC's Robin Roberts. So Robin sat down with Wemby a few weeks ago in Paris as he prepared for his move to the U.S. and the draft. She posted a few pictures of her and the top pick after the Spurs won the lottery. So here's a preview of that one-on-one conversation.
How do you deal with the pressure that goes along with the anticipation of you?
I have such high expectations from myself, and I'm so determined that the expectations of others are nothing compared to what I expect of myself. So I really got my goals inside, and it's just nothing can disturb me from it. So it's not that hard to deal with it.
I already told Sarah he's such a rock star already.
Has the look.
Right? You can see more with Robin Roberts and Victor this morning on Good Morning America right here on KSAT 12.
And for the record, Wemby, you will not be booed here in San Antonio.
Not at all.
You are being welcomed with open arms, even a parade. And our live reports from Brooklyn will begin today at our 5 p.m. newscast. And on Thursday, we've got you covered with extended draft coverage. And you can watch the draft, of course, right here live on KSAT 12. And before we go to weather and traffic, check this out.
That's right. It's no secret that the summer has been scorching so far, and we have some cool video to prove it. So San Angelo reached 114 degrees on Tuesday afternoon, the hottest temperature ever recorded there. It was so hot that meteorologists at the National Weather Service in San Angelo were baking cookies in the car. Laredo also hit 115 degrees. I could speak to that. I was there this weekend, passing its old record of 112 set back in 2011.
But are the cookies safe to eat?
I wouldn't.
No, they still looked a little doughy to me.
Well, I mean, I guess it's like cookie dough.
I guess so. I mean, at least the car probably smelled great.
Right?
It's better than like, garlic Parmesan chicken wings.
Yeah, cookies are better.
Left those in the car, an accident on a hot day. Not good. My husband was not happy with me. Okay, Steven.
Don't do that.
I don't know if I would eat those cookies either, Sarah, but I could see, maybe cracking an egg on the side of a sidewalk, see what happens there. But, hey, the heat is definitely something folks want to talk about. But maybe a lot of you are hitting the roads right now to beat that heat. You really don't see a lot of issues out there. 1604 at Valley Meadow, very quiet shot. Not a lot going on, and that has really been the trend of the morning on the TransGuide cameras. Cannot say the same here for this big road closure that we have here in Leon Valley. Grissom Road completely shut down, folks. If you're just waking up with us and live in that area, this is between Bandera Road and Timber Hill Drive, and this was due to a fire that sparked in a storage facility in the area. Now, the Leon Valley Fire Department is advising for folks just to avoid this area because crews still are on the scene. Fire's out, but they still need to investigate. Make sure that you give them plenty of room and avoid that area. Start planning ahead of time. I have to talk about this closure here. I've been talking about it now on day 3. It's 35 southbound. The upper level still remains closed. That exit to Brooklyn Avenue was blocked off following a fire that sparked at an homeless encampment, according to the San Antonio Fire Department. That fire got into the drainage system, which led to a big closure Sunday night along 35. It's obviously since reopened, but that exit at Brooklyn Avenue is still closed as crews investigate the extent of the damage and, of course, make sure that the integrity of the roadway is in good shape. Giving you a wide look now at our map at this hour, not a lot else going on. There is still plenty of construction, which, by the way, is very important to mention. We'll have more on that a little bit later at noon. But other than that, things are quiet on the traffic front. Things are moving along here at 1604 at Spurs Ranch and, of course, in other areas like 1604 at Valley Meadow. It's been actually a pretty quiet morning on the TransGuide cameras. It's just what's happening in Leon Valley that's a big issue.
I see.
Thank you, Stephen.
The rest of the roads are okay.
Yeah.
Okay, the whole cookie discussion.
Okay, inside the car.
But that, again, on the serious side, don't, never, ever, ever, but especially with these temperatures, because inside the car can heat up so quickly, of course, so be very careful with that. All right, here's a picture that kind of sums it all up. I kind of feel sorry for this squirrel.
Aww.
Dug down in some of that mulch right there, which, hopefully kind of kept the ground slightly cooler, kept a little bit of maybe what limited dampness there is in there, and he's just trying to beat the heat any way he can. Poor little guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Thank you very much for the KSAT Connect picture. And there's that hazy look we have out there with all the humidity that is in place. Temperatures, which are in the upper 70s, some low 80s right now, are going to warm up, of course, very quickly. 90 at noon. And what's interesting, even the past couple of days, we've only been right around 90 or even upper 80s. And then we gain 15 or so degrees throughout the course of the afternoon, just over about 5 hours, which is really temperatures skyrocketing, and we're going to be doing the same thing today. Heat index readings well above 110 in many locations, 104 for a high. The record today is 106. Close call. Hopefully we get a few more clouds in here to prevent that, and that's because we do have a chance for some showers and thunderstorms later on today. Clouds this morning. We clear out like every other day. Then we'll start to see some of these showers and storms developing like we've had the past couple of days, although this is a slightly better opportunity with some of these to build up later on this afternoon, or later on this evening, I should say, and then especially in portions of the hill country. Also, a lot of models are kind of trending for this mass of showers to move through the kind of the northeastern part of our viewing area, maybe one of those nighttime storm complexes to develop. At least we will get some clouds around here. Hopefully the clouds move in a little sooner, even if the rain doesn't move in here, to maybe block some of the sunshine, maybe not get us up as high as what is expected. So that's just a kind of a wait and see situation. There will be one or two of those storms, potentially strong to severe, high winds and hail being the biggest threats with that. The high, which is just far enough off to the southwest of us to get us in this little bit of a northwesterly flow, those little disturbances moving on through here. So that's the little break, or the little glimmer of hope that we're seeing around here. That's going to be the situation tomorrow as well. We also get a little bit lower temperatures tomorrow by a degree or two, but this thing's going to build back in here and just plunk down right on top of us going into the weekend as well as next week. And that just means it is going to get, after a little break, it gets even hotter by the weekend and next week. So tomorrow, 100, same thing Friday, but then back up into the low triple-digit readings, 103s over the weekend, 102s next week, and again, 104 today.
You know, you showed that picture of the squirrel, and I have these kittens that come to my patio at night, you know, because they leave out food and water, but I wonder where they go during the day and how they're keeping cool and hydrated. I worry about
probably
all
under houses or any kind of shade.
Quick note, Steven's going to have an update. We're looking at 37 at Jones right now. A huge incident has popped up there. He's checking on that right now. So don't know which direction that is. Southbound. Okay.
Thanks, Steven. All right.
Thank you, Steven.
Thank you. We'll check on that in just a minute. Time now, 6:23 and 79 degrees for now.
We'll be right back.
If you think you, a child in your care, or another loved one were harmed by Endo or a related company, including PAR or AMS, or their products, including ranitidine, transvaginal mesh, or opioids like Opana, Opana ER, or Percocet, your rights may be affected by deadlines in the Endo bankruptcy. You may be entitled to payment as part of Endo's bankruptcy, but you must file a claim by July 7th, 2023. You may file a claim on behalf of yourself, a child in your care, including a child exposed to opioids in the womb, or a deceased or disabled relative. Also, if you hold a claim or interest in Endo, the deadline to object to the potential sale of Endo's assets is July 7th, 2023. For more information, visit endoclaims.com.
And in your morning consumer headlines, Roblox is looking to attract older players. The kid-friendly platform is now allowing content specifically for people who are 17 and older, including more violence and more romance. So users who want to access the category will have to verify their age with a driver's license and a selfie.
And Spotify has made changes to its desktop look. There's now a Your Library feature, which gives access to your saved music and podcasts. Spotify will also have a Now Playing view, which gives the artist biographical information. 6:26 and 79 degrees.
And still ahead at 6:30, veterinarians care deeply for our pets, but now many are saying enough is enough. Why so many are leaving that field that many of us depend on.
Plus, a San Antonio summer camp is teaching a nearly 2,000-year-old martial art to help kids stay active. You'll hear from them coming up.
And a quick check of the roads with TransGuide looking over at major problems there at I-37 at Jones Avenue. You can see first responders getting to the scene right there. We're going to have a check-in with Stephen Cavazos after the break. Right now on GMSA, San Antonio police are investigating a shooting on the city's south side, the condition of the man who was hit by gunfire, and the latest on the suspect.
Already 79 degrees at 6:30. You can see the sun is slowly starting to make its way out, and you can just see that humidity just still clinging to the skyline out there. Mike will have a forecast for us, and hopefully we'll have a little bit of hope in it.
We hope so. Fingers crossed. Well, good morning. It is Wednesday, 6:30, June 21st. Thanks for joining us. We'll just prepare for the heat. We know it's going to get hotter in the afternoon, but maybe a little bit of cloud cover.
Yeah, the cloud cover that we've had the last 2 days, it got so dark last night. My husband was like going out for a bike ride. He's like, "Are you sure I can go?" And I was like, "The radar, the KSAT app says it's north of us. You're good."
And yes, it was great to see, those few little storm clouds. We have a better chance for some little bit more widespread rain today. But yeah, just if we get the clouds moving a little bit sooner around here, because I was doing the same thing. I was looking outside because I saw on the radar that there's rain. It's like, oh gosh, there's no clouds over my house right now to block out some of that sun to help out with those temperatures. But yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed. Maybe things move in or clouds come in a little bit sooner later on today. First of all, yeah, there's all that haze out there. We can't see the skyline from our Brook City base camera. Temperature 79. The average normal low is 73. 76 dew points. So a ton of humidity out there. Needless to say, I don't have to tell you that when you walk outside. You can definitely feel it. Feels like 83 out at the airport, Stinson, as well as Randolph, New Braunfels. Very consistent temperatures around here with all this humidity and some of the low clouds that we're seeing. Molds on the low side, and we do have the excessive heat warning. Once again, this has remained in effect after it got extended yesterday. Now, one thing interesting, though, it goes into effect or in effect up until tonight. It was not extended, so we are going to see a little bit of a break over the next couple of days in some of the temperatures. Scorching hot again today. A couple of storms north and west late this afternoon developing, and then into the evening hours. Some of those may be strong, potentially severe. We're going to start to have a few more out there and some showers, obviously a little bit more cloud cover. Again, hopefully it would come in sooner this afternoon to kind of just keep those temperatures down a little bit. Tomorrow, we're going to be at 100 as opposed to getting up to 104 like today. A stray storm is still possible. That's the little bit of a break we get in temperatures tomorrow as well as Friday. Then temperatures go right back up over the weekend and rain chances once again go away. All those details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic authority, Stephen, you got a big issue out there. Right?
Yeah, and this popped up a few minutes ago, Mike. You mentioned it as we went to commercial break. 37 at Jones Avenue, southbound lanes. Guys, keep this in mind. If you are traveling through the area, you're going to see some big closures out there. 3 lanes are blocked at this time. We have several first responders that are out there on the scene, and you can see traffic right now is bumper to bumper. We even have crews that are walking through the highway, so make sure to watch out, slow down. No word yet on how many vehicles are involved or exactly if there were any injuries. We hope everyone's doing okay, but I do want to go ahead and actually change this shot up a bit because our friends at TransGuide have given us a different angle. That does look like a vehicle that it seems to have been rear-ended. You could see it almost on the opposite side. No word yet again if there were any injuries or how many other vehicles were involved, but this is just another shot from that camera at TransGuide at 37th at 9th. Remember, those southbound lanes are going to start to see some buildup, and that's exactly what our map is reflecting. 3 lanes are blocked, and we're going to watch very closely. You may have received a push notification, so make sure to have that KSAT mobile app downloaded with the notifications turned on. I do have to take a drive. Our other big news of the morning has been this big closure in Leon Valley. Grissom Road shut down, and that's between Bandera and Timber Hill Drive, and that was due to a fire that sparked in a storage facility earlier this morning. Katrina Weber is live there this morning. Katrina, give us some good news.
I wish I could tell you the road is open, but that's not the case. However, firefighters did say it might be closed until about 7 o'clock or so. Right now, we still have these fire trucks here, still have some hoses that are stretched across the road. So until these are gone, this road is not going to open up again. Now, the fire is out, but you can still see it's smoldering. And I would imagine the firefighters are going to stay put until all wisps of smoke are gone. This fire did involve several units inside a storage facility that houses RVs and boats and those sort of big items like that. We understand 4 units were involved in this fire, which broke out after 4 o'clock this morning. No word on the cause yet. Investigators were not able to get inside and to look for how this fire started because it was still too hot, and I would imagine that's still the case right now. So this could go on for a while. Again, we were told until about 7 o'clock is when they expect this road to be closed, but we'll have to wait and see how this goes. Reporting live in Leon Valley, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. A 19-year-old is in police custody after shooting one of his family members.
It happened on the city's south side. Alyssa Cole joins us now from downtown. Alyssa, did this escalate into a deadly shooting?
Yes, good morning, ladies. Good morning, ladies. What we are learning is that this did not turn into a fatal incident. The victim that was involved in this incident is said to be okay at last check. We're told that he was in stable condition at University Hospital. But here's what led up to all of this man being hospitalized. Police tell us the shooting happened, as you mentioned, on the city's south side between 9:30 and 10 last night on Lee Street between South Cross and Flores. What we're told is a 49-year-old man fell victim to his 19-year-old nephew after his 19-year-old nephew shot him in the foot. It was because of an argument. Of course, it escalated, and that's how it led to the nephew pulling out a weapon and shooting his uncle in the foot. Now, what we have been told is that the nephew ran out of the house and he wanted to get away. He went into hiding. As soon as police came out searching that neighborhood area, they were able to find that teen in a high grassy area outside of an abandoned house. They took him in and they detained him. Right now, they're working on this case that of course, has led to family issues between the two. But of course, they're working on this case right now to settle this incident. But for now, reporting outside of police headquarters downtown San Antonio, Alyssa Cole, KSAT 12 News.
All right, thank you, Alyssa. San Antonio police are investigating after a young man was shot in the head outside a home. This happened around 8:40 p.m. in the 1000 block of Flanders Avenue on the city's southwest side. Police said a man was standing alone at the end of the home's driveway when someone in a gray sedan drove by and fired multiple shots, hitting him in the head. The man in his late teens to early 20s was taken to the hospital in critical condition. Police say he did not live at that residence and was only visiting a friend. Investigators spoke with witnesses at that scene, but so far no arrests have been made.
Looking ahead, full-time employees at Harlandale ISD are about to get more money. The district school board approved a list of raises for the upcoming school year during this week's meeting. So the minimum starting salary for teachers will be $58,000. Bus drivers will also see an increase in the minimum pay going from $15.90 an hour to $19 an hour. And bilingual math and science teachers will get more stipend money.
And before we go to break, local veterinarians say a boom in pet ownership is pushing them to the brink.
Yeah, many of them say the added workload has left them anxious, depressed, and stressed. Leah Shannon at Alamo Ranch Animal Hospital says she and her peers have seen their patient caseload double over the past few years. She says the limited number of veterinarian programs can't keep up with the demand, and the number of professionals ready to retire will only add to that demand. She says between student debt and unkind pet parents are putting a strain on veterinarians. She says sometimes pet owners don't respect them as actual medical professionals.
There's a lot of information out there, but that's not an informed medical piece of information. It can be really disheartening to feel, like, why are you here if this is not an opinion that you really want?
So she asks clients for compassion and, most importantly, patience. Dr. Shannon says the need for vet care will increase in about a decade as pets acquired over the past few years begin to age. And yes, we do appreciate our vets very much. So yes. I do for my 2 dogs at home.
Yes, you do. And I was going to say, hopefully they'll stay in the business a little longer, or maybe get some more people, some more help as well. Time now, 6:39 and 79 degrees for now.
Just ahead, it's not your average summer camp. These kids are trading bonfires for black belts. We're introducing you to unique martial art called Tang Soo Do. That is next. Welcome back. Martial arts is a great way to learn about your body, both physically and mentally.
This morning, David Sears tells us about a local martial arts business that's looking to keep your kids active this summer.
Texas Tang Soo Do has been in our community for nearly 40 years. Owner and master instructor Patrick West believes martial arts is an essential sport for everyone to learn.
Promote health, self-defense, and to be a better person.
At his studio, West focuses on teaching Tang Soo Do, which is a nearly 2,000-year-old Korean martial art. Classes are held year-round, but during the summer, the studio will hold camps for current and new students.
One of the great things about the camp is there's no experience needed.
Third-degree black belt and camp director John Klein works with the camp kids. The camps focus on kicking techniques, forms of jumping, and rolling. He believes this is a great way to help kids stay active while school is out.
This gives them a chance to keep moving on, to keep moving their body and not let it get stagnant from sitting too long.
The camps also zero in on the mental aspect of martial arts, learning how to focus the mind on the task at hand. Parents have the option to pick how many days their child will attend. The studio offers the 5th day free for parents who sign and pay for the first 4 days of the camp.
The main purpose is to provide a safe place so families can come together.
Texas Tang Soo Do is still accepting spots for their upcoming summer camps. You can enroll by heading to ksat.com. David Sears, KSAT 12 News.
Looks like a fun camp.
Yeah, it does. Give it a try this summer. Well, we still have big problems on I-37. Let's check back with our Stephen Cavazos.
And unfortunately, it's during a pretty busy time. Check out 37 at 9th Street. This is the shot that we showed you a little bit earlier. It does look like at least one vehicle was involved in this crash where 3 lanes are blocked along 37 southbound. But also a tow truck arrived to the scene, so maybe this involved one vehicle. There's still no word yet if there was any other vehicles involved or how many injuries were associated with this crash. But we always hope everyone's doing okay out there, but first responders have been pretty busy throughout the morning. We'll show you where that's taking place. Southbound lanes not too far from Jones Avenue. You see a buildup out there, and we do have those 3 lanes blocked, as I mentioned earlier. I did send out that push notification, so again, make sure you have those KSAT mobile apps downloaded, updated with the notifications turned on, because it'll let you know what's out on the roads before you have to go. I do have to take a drive back over here to Leon Valley. This is where Katrina Weber has been live throughout the morning. There was that storage facility fire that happened around 4. Now, it's already been out. It's actually first responders were able to extinguish the flames, but they are still out there investigating. So Grissom Road completely shut down, and it's a busy time, so folks are waking up to those units out there. This is between Bandera and Timber Hill Drive. My advice to you and their advice, avoid that area. Make sure you give them plenty of room and start planning your commute accordingly. Not spotting a whole lot of congestion, which is great. So that's going to help us in terms of these incidents. But of course, we know that the morning commute is just getting started. Let's take a different shot here at 37 at Jones Avenue, where we still have those lanes that are blocked off, road flares in place, several first responders out there on the scene. And this really kind of paints the picture. Bumper to bumper traffic, 37, a very busy area, but this is in the southbound lane. So if you're heading out, let's say toward Pleasanton, just know what to expect out there. Just watch out.
Thank you, Stephen.
So the pets are keeping cool.
Yes, I don't know if this falls under the category of any port in a storm, but any pool in the heat, I guess.
Oh, so
Even
cute.
if it happens to be your water dish waiting for your pool to get filled up.
Thank you, Yvonne.
And you got to cool off, you got to cool off. So look at great picture. Thank you. Yes, thank you very much, Yvonne, for that KSAT Connect picture. Wow. I mean, we could actually see the lights of the skyline earlier, and now it's just that haze looking at it from our camera down there at Brook City Base. Temperatures, we will have clouds hanging around this morning, more sunshine. I mean, it's going to be almost identical to yesterday and the day before that. We'll be right around 90, just about at the normal high temperature, which is 93 at noon. And then we gain a good 12, 13, 14, 15 degrees or so. That's been the situation the past couple of days, gaining all that heat just in the 5 hours from noon till 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So 104 for a high temperature later on today. 2 records the past 2 days, 105 each day. Today will be 2 degrees away from the record, but of course we have all the humidity to deal with. Now, one little glimmer of hope, or a better glimmer of hope later on today. Of course, we've had those few showers and thunderstorms, just 1 or 2 of them the past couple of afternoons. But this afternoon, a better chance for some showers and even a couple of thunderstorms, a little bit more widespread, not covering the entire area, but a little bit more widespread than the past few days. And this is going to be right around dinner time, early evening hours. Hopefully some of the clouds get pushed on in here a little sooner, maybe to put a lid on some of the afternoon heating. That's wishful thinking, but we will see some of these showers around here going into the evening hours. There will be a couple of them that are going to be on the strong, potentially severe side. And then also models are trying to get another storm complex to develop overnight and kind of work through our northeastern counties. That's going to be going into the overnight hours and early tomorrow morning. So maybe even a little bit of leftover rain around here tomorrow morning. Can't believe I'm using the word rain in the forecast, but at least there is going to be some out there. And also a couple of those storms may be strong, potentially severe, high winds and hail. So that's what we're going to have to watch out for, because the past couple of evenings, those little cells, even though they've been few and far between, have gotten on the strong to severe side. As far as the forecast today, like I said, 104. So we are going to be up close to a record high today. We will have the heat index to deal with again today. Now, the excessive heat warning expires tonight at 9. It's not going to be in place tomorrow and Friday. Slightly lower temperature, still extremely hot, but just not quite as hot. However, that heat's going to come back in here. We crank it up a couple of more notches going into the weekend and the first part of next week.
All right, well, we'll take a small break for the next couple of days.
Any little thing is going to help, yeah.
Please be safe there. Yep. Hydrate, sunscreen, coverage.
Yes.
I think we all know the drill now.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been through this couple of summers now. All right, it's 6:50 and 79 degrees.
And here's a look at what's coming up tomorrow on GMSA.
A local woman from Fort Sam putting aside her combat boots for a set of high heels. I'm Katrina Weber. I'll tell you how she's hoping to make strides in the pageant world. Coming up tomorrow on GMSA.
It's a very cool story Katrina Weber has there, and like we've been saying all morning, it's going to be another hot one on this Wemby Wednesday.
Yay, Wemby Wednesday.
We'll be right back for a final look at traffic and weather. Steven Cavazos has some important information you need to know about the roads.
Good morning. Coming up, the race to find the submersible that disappeared while exploring the wreckage of the Titanic. Underwater noises were detected overnight. This morning, we're speaking with one man who was scheduled to be on board but pulled out due to safety concerns. And the other big headline this morning, Hunter Biden's plea deal. The president's son reaching an agreement on tax violations and a gun charge. We'll have all the latest coming up on GMA.
Okay, I know Mike has mentioned it. Today is a summer solstice, and NASA experts say this is an exciting time for the sun.
Yes, it is. Coming up today on GMSA at 9, we're going to speak with an expert about why that is and what the summer solstice means.
Plus, Tiffany Huertas is showing us how a summer music program is helping kids with their confidence and performance skills.
And David Sears will have a recap of the Victor Wembanyama interview on Good Morning America, right? Wemby Wednesday.
Wemby Wednesday.
It's all coming up today on GMSA at 9. And right now on KSAT.com, get ready, Rodeo San Antonio. That's right, we're in June and we're talking about the rodeo. So the tickets for the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo's 75th anniversary will go on sale this morning. The sale begins at 10 a.m. Just look for the article on KSAT.com. It's going to have everything you need to know on how you can get your tickets. And the rodeo will be held from February 8th through the 24th, 2024 at the AT&T Center Fairgrounds.
And Stephen, things still look pretty congested at 37 and Jones.
Yeah, unfortunately, Sarah, not much progress here, but we are seeing first responders out there. 3 lanes blocked, 37 southbound, folks. This is going to lead to some delays, as you can see it right there on the screen. Bumper to bumper traffic. Be on the lookout near Jones Avenue, where those lanes are blocked due to a crash. One jump over here, Leon Valley. The road still remains closed, but according to Katrina Weber, this should open around 7 this morning. First responders have been out there following a early morning fire. Again, Grissom Road shut down between Bandera and Timber Hill Drive, Mike.
It is hazy, hot, and humid out there this morning. You can see we can't even see the skyline from our Brook City base camera. 78 degrees right now. Temperatures are a good 5 or so above normal, and we're going to make it up to 90 at noon. 104 high today. That's going to be 2 degrees away from today's record, and we'll have those heat index readings to deal with. A few stray showers and thunderstorms out there, and 1 or 2 of those could be strong to severe. Of course, the excessive heat warning remains in effect up until 9 o'clock tonight. So keep your fingers crossed for a little rain today.
We will.
Later on.
All right, thank
Hey,
you,
on
Mike.
GMA, Robin Roberts interviewing Wemby in just a bit.
We'll see you at 9.